Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Alex Telles is hoping to complete a move to Manchester United this week. Now Fabrizio Romano has come out, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, and he's mentioned that PSG are still interested in Alex Telles, but Manchester United are ahead in negotiations. Now Mohamed Bouafsi from RMC Sport a few days ago did say that Alex Telles has agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and it says he has agreed a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £70,000 a week. Now Alex Telles did recently say he's not distracted by the rumours linking him with a move to Manchester United, and Porto's boss has recently made an admission saying that Alex Telles could be leaving Porto in the next fortnight. Now, there has been reports stemming from the Portuguese press saying that we've offered Diego Dalot to Porto in exchange for Alex Telles, because we are looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. We did obviously get Diego Dalot in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. I think we paid around £19 million for him, and of course he is a former Porto player. But there's been a few clubs that have been interested in Diego Dalot. Now, Porto have already revealed their asking price for Alex Telles. They do want around £18 million, or is it just over £18 million? We have not yet come to an agreement on a fee because Ed Woodward is refusing to pay what Porto are demanding. But Porto have actually lowered their valuation because at the first they wanted in the £20-odd million range. He is only the age of 27, so he has still got a lot of development in him. He's predominantly a left back, and Manchester United are in search for a left back. We've got two predominant left backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw. He's our first choice left back. And we've obviously got Brandon Williams. He's our backup left back. But we're in now for Alex Telles because we've just recently missed out on Sergio Reguilon. Alex Telles' agent was in Manchester not so long ago to thrash out a deal for his client to join Manchester United. So it's looking very, very likely that Alex Telles is going to be our second signing in this summer transfer window. So that is the breaking news on him. Now I want to delve into some news on Dayot Upamecano from RP Leipzig. So according to James Ducker, he has said that Manchester United are still interested in Dayot Upamecano from RP Leipzig. He would probably cost us around £60 million. He recently signed a new contract with RP Leipzig, and obviously that includes a release clause, but this won't be active until next summer, but he'll be available for cheaper next summer. He's got a contract now with RP Leipzig until 2023. You know, he has been at RP Leipzig for quite a few years now. RP Leipzig did pay around €10 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg back in 2017, and he is only the age of 21. And he's predominantly a centre-half, and Manchester United are in search for the centre-half, despite the fact that we have got 7 centre-halves in the team. But it recently said that Solskjaer will postpone getting a centre-half in this summer transfer window, and he'll get a centre-half in next summer instead. But we're only going to try and get Dayot Upamecano anyway if we can offload the likes of Phil Jones, Chris Smalling and Marcus Rojo. But we do need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. So that is the breaking news on that. Now, I want to give you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Luton tomorrow night in the Carabao Cup third round. Like I said on my preview earlier on today, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make quite a lot of changes from our 3-1 defeat to Crystal Palace recently. So, like I mentioned on my preview, I think Solskjaer will go with Dean Henderson in goal. David De Gea won't start this one. I said anyway, I think that Dean Henderson should be our number one, because I think now Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper, because Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him, because he recently endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. We got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. And not so long ago, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year deal with Man United worth 120 grand a week. But I think, David De Gea will remain our number one for at least the first part of this season. I think at right back, we will go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka obviously missed the Crystal Palace game for some reason. We've got a few options at right back. We've obviously got Diogo Dalot. He's another option. We've got Timothy Fosu-Mensah. He's another option. Don't forget he played against Crystal Palace. But I think, we will go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's definitely got to improve his attacking intent, because that's what he's lacking at the moment. But Wan-Bissaka's defensive contribution's always been very, very good. But if he's to emulate to like Trent Alexander-Arnold's level, we've got to see more attacking intent from him. This season is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. Obviously, last season was his first season at the club, and we got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million last summer. I think our centre-halves will be Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. Eric Bailly, I think, will come in for Victor Lindelof. Victor Lindelof, I don't think will start the game against Luton tomorrow. Victor Lindelof was heavily criticised, reflecting on his poor performance against Palace. Victor Lindelof obviously gave the penalty away. He was also accountable for the first goal, and he was also caught out of position for the third goal. And I don't think Victor Lindelof's good enough, to represent Manchester United. Victor Lindelof's endured like 3 years at the football club. I think Bailly's better than him, but my only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. Obviously, Bailly's endured like 4 years at the club. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. Harry Maguire, he did obviously play against Crystal Palace and weren't so good. Solskjaer's already made his decision on Harry Maguire. He's obviously going to remain Manchester United captain this season, but there's quite a few Manchester United fans that don't think Harry Maguire is good enough to captain the team. Obviously, this season's his second season at the club, and there's still aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Last season was his first season at the football club. Don't forget, was it last month, Harry Maguire had got arrested in Greece, and he also got convicted, and he did get a suspended sentence, didn't he, of 21 months and 10 days. As it stands at the moment, Harry Maguire is our second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. So yeah, with them two as centre-back partnership, obviously, we've got other centre-halves as well, but obviously, Tuanzebe, he's still injured. Phil Jones, he's still out with injury. Chris Smalling, he won't play any part, because obviously, there's still a lot of rumours of him leaving the football club in this summer transfer window. And, Rojo won't play any part either. At left back, I think we're going to go with Brandon Williams. He'll come in for Luke Shaw, will Brandon Williams. I hope he can continue his consistency this season, because I thought last season Brandon Williams did really, really well for Manchester United. He did make his senior debut for the club. In our EFL game against Rochdale, he made his first start in the league against Brighton, didn't he? And Brandon Williams recently signed a 4-year contract with the club, so it's good that he's committed his future with Man United, and we recently gave Brandon Williams the number 33 shirt. Luke Shaw's obviously our first choice left back at the moment, but like I've said, my element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. He's just recovered from an ankle injury, and I thought he was very poor against Crystal Palace. You know, definitely was accountable for the first goal and didn't really show much attacking intent. So Shaw won't be involved in this one. The midfield, I think we're going to go with Fred and Matic. Fred and Matic did not play any part against Crystal Palace, did they? To be honest with you, my perception on Fred, I think he's really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. I thought last season he did quite well. You know, Fred has been at the football club now a few years. Under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred never really got his opportunities. And he was heavily criticised, but under Solskjaer has definitely confounded his critics' run. We got Fred for £52 million for Shakhtar Donetsk in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. But Fred has found game time very difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes and obviously now Donny van de Beek. Matic, I've got to say, you know, he's improved as a Manchester United player. Not so long ago, he signed a 3-year deal with Manchester United, did Matic. Obviously, Matic has enjoyed a few years with the football club. We've got other options in midfield. You know, McTominay's obviously an option. You know, he did play in the game against Crystal Palace, and to be honest with you, I thought he was poor. Was very, very careless in possession. You know, I think McTominay now is our first choice holding midfielder. McTominay's obviously been part of the club for several years, and it weren't so long ago that he signed a 5-year deal with Manchester United, McTominay. But I think it will be Fred and Matic, like I mentioned. Paul Pogba, I think he will be rested in this one against Luton. Paul Pogba wasn't so good against Crystal Palace. I thought he had a couple of good chances from outside the box, did Paul Pogba, but I thought, you know, he just gave the possession away far too many times. I think Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United, and I think, you know, it's very, very imperative that we do get him a new long-term contract at the football club to end the uncertainty over his future. Towards the end of last season, I thought Paul Pogba did well, but for the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. Don't forget, Paul Pogba just recently recovered from coronavirus. So yeah, he'll miss this one, I think. Bruno Fernandes, I think he'll also be rested for the Luton game. I don't think Bruno Fernandes was so good against Crystal Palace. But the vast majority of the games Bruno Fernandes has played in since he's come to Man United, he has made an impact. Don't forget he's won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. He's scored like 12 or 13 goals in all competitions for Man United since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon. But you've got to say he's still definitely made the difference in the team. So the Pogba and Bruno Fernandes won't be involved. I think Donny van de Beek will start. Donny van de Beek has made an impact at Manchester United since he's come in. Played 2 games so far. Obviously played the 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season and played the game against Crystal Palace. Why Solskjaer didn't start Donny van de Beek, I do not know, but obviously come on as a substitute and scored on his Premier League debut. And I said, didn't I, know Donny van de Beek will bring a lot to Manchester United. I think Mason Greenwood will start on that right-hand side against Luton. I don't know why Mason Greenwood didn't start against Crystal Palace. Greenwood did come on, obviously, and actually, made an impact, to be fair. But we started Daniel James ahead of Greenwood against Crystal Palace. We've had a few issues with Mason Greenwood recently, obviously. Something to do with inhaling laughing gas. Don't forget Greenwood and Phil Foden were withdrawn from the England squad for taking girls back to the team hotel. We recently gave Mason Greenwood the number 11, didn't we? He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11. But Solskjaer's recently been furious with the FA and Gareth Southgate for the handling of Greenwood, saying that, he should have been rested. But towards the end of last season, Greenwood was very, very good. But for the vast majority of last season, a lot of his appearances came from the bench. So I think he'll start on that right-hand side. I think, to be honest with you, We'll put Daniel James on the left-hand side. And for the vast majority of last season, Daniel James started a lot of games, didn't he? And I felt as though that Solskjaer overplayed him. Now, obviously, this season is Daniel James' second season at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Swansea last summer in a deal worth £18 million. So you can say he was a cheap solution. But when we've played him, we've actually put him on that right hand side a lot of the time, even though he's supposed to be more effective from that left hand side. There's obviously been rumours saying that Leeds United are trying to obviously get Daniel James. They're making a second attempt to get him. I heard that Leeds are planning to put around the £12 million bidding with add-ons included, and now Leeds apparently want to get him on loan with the obligation to make the deal permanent at the end of this season. Leeds United came very, very close to getting him in January 2019. I think everything was agreed and etc, etc. But Swansea had pulled out right at the final hurdle. So this is why Daniel James' move to Leeds did not materialise. Rashford usually plays on that left-hand side, but I think Rashford won't start this game against Luton tomorrow night. I think he will be given a rest. Rashford, by the way, weren't so good against Crystal Palace either. Don't forget Marcus Rashford has just recently recovered from an ankle injury. I think with his ankle injury he did have, he missed both of England's games. Rashford also had a back injury for us last season, didn't he? Don't forget. And he was out with that back injury for a few months. But Rashford has been part of the football club for several years. He's been with us around 15 years now in total. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then has become an integral part of the team. We know now that Rashford does obviously play on that left-hand side. I think we'll go with Odion Ighalo up top. Obviously, we got Odion Ighalo on deadline day in January. The main explanation why we recommended Odion Ighalo in was to get a cover up to Marcus Rashford, because at the time we got Odion Ighalo in, Rashford was out with that back injury. Don't forget, Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. And was it just after lockdown, we extended Odion Ighalo's loan until January 2021. Martial, he won't start this game against Luton. He will also be dropped. Martial against Crystal Palace, obviously, started. I think he looked too isolated, did Anthony Martial. Didn't really get into the game, did he? I thought last season, though, Anthony Martial was absolutely exceptional. He really, really was. Don't forget, Martial did score that hat-trick against Sheffield United at the final part of last season. He became the first Manchester United player to score a hat-trick since Robin Van Persie back in 2012, was it? And we know now that obviously Anthony Martial plays in that number 9, even though it isn't his predominant position, but he looks very, very effective in that central position. Martial has enjoyed 5 years at the football club. And I thought he was also very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid £36 million for him. So this is how I think, we are going to line up against Luton tomorrow night. But it will be good. It will be just good to see, Dean Henderson making his debut for the club. Lingard, could he be possibly, involved in the game? Juan Mata, he's also another option on that right-hand side. I forgot to mention earlier on. Like I said, we've got a lot of young players coming through at Manchester United. We've obviously got that Tiedemann Menge. I think he made his senior debut for the club in the Europa League. We've also got Ethan Galbraith, have we? I heard that he recently got promoted into the senior squad. We've got Hannibal Mejbrai. He's another young player. But yeah, so that is your starting 11 prediction for the game against Luton. Obviously, we have not won the EFL Cup since 2017. So the last time we won it was under the Jose Mourinho era. In total, we've won it 5 times because we won it on 4 occasions under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We did actually, get knocked out of the third round of the Carabao Cup back in 2018 against Derby. I think they beat us like 9-8. I think they beat us like 9-8 on penalties. But this game tomorrow is going to be the 40th meeting between Manchester United and Luton, and the first since a league fixture in 1992. Luton are currently in the Championship, as you all know. They dropped out of the First Division back in 2009, which is obviously now 11 years ago. Luton Town did actually win the League Cup back in 1988. Luton progressed to the third round of the competition by obviously beating Norwich in the first round, I think, by 3-1, and they beat Reading in the previous round by 1-0. Luton Town have got a few injuries. I think they've got that Dan Potts out. They've got Brendan Galloway out. And they've also got that O'Kane out. But the players that are going to be involved, I think, for Luton Town is obviously going to be Ryan Tunnicliffe, former Manchester United player. Jordan Clark, he should be involved for them as well. Danny Hilton, he should also be involved for them. George McCraw, he should also be involved for them. Luton Town's current manager is Nathan Jones. I think this is actually, his second spell at Luton. Obviously, before he's managed Stoke, and I think at one point he was the caretaker manager of Brighton, was Nathan Jones. So yeah, and I'm actually no surprised that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not done a press conference ahead of this game against Luton. They don't always do press conferences for the Carabao Cup. But yeah, it's definitely a game Manchester United should win. Some Man United fans, should think we should go with a strong lineup and we shouldn't take any risks. But we have got to get back to winning ways, because that was a very, very disappointing result against Crystal Palace, losing 3-1. You saw my match reaction recently. I think it was our worst defeat that we've endured on the first game of the Premier League season since like 1995. It's the second season in a row in the Premier League that Crystal Palace have beaten us at Old Trafford, and it's the first time in Crystal Palace's actual history they have won their first two games in a top flight division. And our second league game is Brighton, and that's another game that Manchester United have got to win. But you saw one of my videos that I did recently, didn't you? And I said, what will represent a good season for Manchester United? And that's obviously finishing in the top 2 or the top 3 and winning a trophy. Because I want Manchester United to win a trophy this season, because it will obviously put more confidence into the team. We have not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And this is the first time this has happened in over 30 years. I said to you, didn't I, this season is big for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. Because obviously this season is his second full season at the club. And obviously he knows Solskjaer that he's got to exceed his expectations if he is to remain at Manchester United. But Solskjaer was saying, wasn't he, like before the Crystal Palace game, we've got a lot of confidence going on into this season, from where we left off last season. Because to be honest with you, last season, Solskjaer did exceed most of his expectations. He obviously, got us qualification for the Champions League. We also finished third, and we also progressed to 3 semi-finals. But don't forget, the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager, wasn't he? But obviously, he turned it around. I said to you, can Manchester United mount a title challenge up this season? And I think for us to do this, Obviously, we've got to get more signings in. Obviously, we've got to get rid of the deadwood at the football club, because quite frankly, there is still deadwood at Manchester United, and we are struggling to offload our fringe players at the moment. The news on Lingard, Tottenham are trying to get him. Lingard's one player would try to offload. Pereira, I want us to offload him, but he could actually end up staying now at Man United. Smalling, Rojo, Jones, obviously looking to offload them. And Diego Dalot looking to offload him. And Sergio Romero, he's obviously open to leaving Man United, because he's not going to want to stay at Manchester United. Romero has third choice goalkeeper, because he's now third choice because Dean Henderson recently returned. And I've been hearing rumours saying that Valencia are interested in him and they're willing to pay around £6 million for Sergio Romero. Leeds, Everton, and also to Aston Villa have also been interested in Sergio Romero. Like I mentioned, I think we have at least a couple of years off winning the... should I say 3, 4, 5 years off winning the title. It's going to take a long rebuilding process, if Man United are to win the title. But, we haven't mounted any title challenge up in the last 7 years. And obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Now, I do presume that there's, some Manchester United fans that are already criticising Solskjaer, reflecting on our 3-1 defeat to Palace. But like I mentioned, the first part of last season, we was very, very critical of him. I don't really have a perception on him at the moment. Let it delve into the season a bit more. And if this inconsistency is to continue, then more Manchester United fans will be demanding him out. Now, like I've said to Solskjaer has got to improve his decision making, because that's what's letting him down at the moment. Some players have got to take responsibility as well, because there's still some players that are not playing as they should be, and they're way below par. But I think the vast majority of the blame stems from the board. I really do, because quite frankly, the board haven't been backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, and Solskjaer has publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window. Obviously, we've only made one signing so far in this summer transfer window, and that was Donny van der Beek. And obviously, we're missing out on a lot of our targets. We missed out on Bale, missed out on Sergio Reguilon, missed out on Erling Haaland in January. We also missed out on Jude Bellingham. We missed out on Jack Grealish, because he recently signed a 5-year deal with Aston Villa. And another one of my element of concerns is that these teams around us that are doing very, very good recruitment. But we've been critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years anyway, reflects on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've overpaid for players, we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. And the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired, quite frankly, have not been backed enough. And this is why. But Woodward's been with us 8 years, and the Glazers have been with us around 15 years. But if Manchester United did decide to sack Solskjaer, who should come in to replace him now? Pochettino, he'd probably be the favourite to come in if Solskjaer got sacked. Pochettino is a good manager, and obviously he's well proven in the Premier League, but my element of concern about Pochettino is not won out in terms of silverware. Massimiliano Allegri, at one point, there was talks about him coming into the football club. But, it wouldn't really solve much anyway if we sacked him. And Man United are not really known for a sacking football club anyway, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. We sacked Moyes, Van Gaal, and, Jose Mourinho and all of that. So, yeah. But Solskjaer, to be fair, has learned quite a lot at Manchester United. He's got that managerial experience behind him now. Obviously, hasn't got that proven pedigree, obviously, Solskjaer. But he has learned quite a lot. But we've had good periods under him. Before that Palace defeat, we had a good period because we was unbeaten in our last 14 league games. We went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea had beaten us in the FA Cup semi-final and that. You know what I mean? And I want his managerial tenure to work out, because at the end of the day, Solskjaer is a club legend. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.